This video had been previously recorded, but for some mysterious reason, about a minute in, went into slow motion. We're going to keep it on, but we're going to re-record it. That was a great video. We had a lot of commentary in there, but we're going to try and remember everything we touched on and repeat it again today. So we've obviously had quite a interesting and volatile day for energy. However, we've got a good read on everything that's occurring, and we've been studying this every single day for the past several months, and here we are. It looks like not everyone has been in the same position we have, though. We have Joe Biden putting out several pieces of information, looking for someone to blame for the energy crisis, and it's no surprise. Thanksgiving is next week. There's going to be a lot of travel via car and airline. And there's going to be a lot of families at the table. And we know how politicians love talking about the families at the table. Well, we don't want to disrupt these conversations with, wow, it was so expensive to get here. It was expensive. Oh, the turkey was more expensive. No, he doesn't want that, okay? He wants it to be, oh, but Joe Biden's going to fix it. But he's fixing it. They're making it happen. Or, wow, these energy companies are so bad, even though over here we know they're not. There's a number of interesting takes here. Let's start with what happened first thing in the day. First things first, Joe Biden puts out a letter to the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, saying, hey, oil companies, largest, number 1 and 2, they're price gouging. Long story short, price gouging. They are increasing the price of gasoline as the price per barrel of gasoline is falling. I actually checked, and my price per barrel was $2.89 last week. And today, it's at $2.82. It did fall, okay? As far as I'm concerned, that's an honest fall. Having studied the market, the fall hasn't been that great. It's just now, for the first time, as long as I can remember, several weeks, that we closed below $80 a barrel, getting to a high around like 85. It's really not that big of a jump. Let's not forget, there's obviously other costs like trucking and stuff that are involved in the movement of oil, and it's pretty expensive to move oil. So I think this is just noise and him trying to shift the blame off himself into those dirty energy companies. That's going to be relevant in a second. But minutes after that letter was released, we got the inventory data. And we normally say over here, the inventory data does not matter. It's not something to look at. But with Thanksgiving so close, it's something we're considering. And that was a 2 million barrel drop. Quite substantial. Now, we had just said, oh, that previous statement's going to be relevant about, I believe it was prior to oil inventories, Thanksgiving. Oh, so attacking the energy companies. Joe Biden campaigned on and said very early on in his presidency that there would be no more drilling on federal lands, and he was going to fight drilling on federal lands. Well, guess what happens this week after the end of COP26, big environmental conference? I believe the largest for sale sign on federal lands, not just federal lands, federal offshore lands, okay? Right after the environmental conference. It's pretty ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Anyways, 80 million acres right there, but who's going to take it? Who's going to take it? You're getting attacked by the Biden administration. FTC is going to come after you and give you a pain in the butt audit investigation. There's a green wave that you're trying to do everything you can to lead. And now you're going to spend your money buying this land, investing in this equipment just to see it go away? I don't think so. There's a whole lot of problems going on here. This isn't making a whole lot of sense, okay? The Biden administration clearly doesn't like the rhetoric and the situation. And, it is what it is. We were energy independent. We had a very friendly energy policy. And all of a sudden, that turned not friendly. And we shifted green. We want to shift green, but we want to shift green in a way that balances the two, that allows a not rough transition, just allows a transition that incentivizes this stuff, but keeps this stuff going. However, this stuff has been so underinvested in, while this stuff has been so overinvested in, that there's honestly, this is where we got to worry. There's a ton of fraud and outrageous claims and outrageous valuations over here that don't make any sense. This is where the pain is, okay? At least with regards to people and their wallets and the future of those people and their wallets. This stuff, we got carbon capture, okay? We're not gonna die. The world is not gonna go away. The world has actually been through worse. And if you look up the Cambrian explosion, you might think the Cambrian explosion, we're talking about a period in history, that might mean that the world exploded and carbon dioxide was through the air and there was smoke everywhere and life went extinct and we were covered in clouds. However, that's not the case. The Cambrian explosion did have the highest period of CO2 in the atmosphere on record. However, it was actually 40 times current levels, roughly. However, it was also the most crucial period for modern day life and gave way to most modern day life. Not some modern day life, most modern day life. A lot of it, okay? Look up the Cambrian explosion and you will find a lot about it. Okay, we've got random attacks. We've got Thanksgiving and low inventories. We've got no incentive to drill, and we've got rather low reserves, about 6 days worth in this country of total reserves of worldwide energy demand, roughly. We can't deplete that, okay? Joe Biden took a lot of heat from Trump because he depleted the masks, the ventilators, the cupboards were bare, okay? He said he wrote this whole book about how to handle a pandemic, but did not have any of the actual equipment on how to handle a pandemic. To handle a pandemic. That's like him saying, oh, I've got this plan to bring on renewable energy. We're just going to get rid of normal energy. And that's exactly what's happening here. But the difference is he's president this time for that. So I don't think he's going to be able to deplete the reserves that much more. Even if he did, we've been able to stomach 20 million barrels, hit new 52-week multi-year highs in the price of oil. Regardless, maybe we chill out a little bit. You know, we've had a big run. I'm not saying we're gonna chill out. I mean, we have chilled out. Maybe we chill out. That's no big deal. These companies are still making a ton of money. As we said yesterday, last quarter, in like, let's say, call it average $60 a barrel oil, Exxon put up 6.75 billion. We'll round it to 7 billion. That brings you to 21 billion. For the year. If you annualize that quarter, that's putting them at about a 12 PE. We bring it up to $80 a barrel, which is probably around where the average is this quarter. Let's say you bring it up to 8 to 9, but we'll make it 8, 24, 25. We'll make it 25 billion. You're getting a 10 annualized trailing PE for Exxon with a 5% dividend. That's an incredible price, especially given they've got deals with Porsches who are saying that they're going to keep the combustion engine around because it's fun to drive, as are electric vehicles, but something about a combustion engine, something about it, something about a manual. You know, I've never driven a manual, but I like my V8 turbocharged, 510 horsepower. You know, I've obviously not driven the Plaid. Always open to have my mind changed, but just giving you that. So today, a whole lot of noise happening. But I think we got a pretty good understanding of where things are and where things are going, and we're sticking with that. We're looking through. We're here every day. We're thinking about this every day. Probably thinking about this a little bit more than Biden. Sure, maybe he might have a little more information. He may be able to have a little more precision on where things are going. Clearly, he's panicked. That should tell us everything we need to know, folks. So, if you like this video, I'm happy. I'm glad you got some value out of it. But I would appreciate if you please like and subscribe. If you're new, welcome to the channel. We'll see you next time. And until tomorrow, peace out.